There's never been a better time to have SIRIUS XM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy a favorite shows with SIRIUS XM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Well, guys, we've arrived. It's been an incredible season, but we are here at our final daytime broadcast of our scheduled season. And today we're going to celebrate that because we've got a slew of guests to kind of wrap up our 2022 season, including Sirius XM and all the great distribution partners that'll be joining us. And man, do we got a major announcement that you don't want to miss that we're going to say at the end of the show. This is 12 Volt Insider, all about Sirius XM and our year-end review, right here on CMA Networks. Sirius XM starts now. What's going on, 12 Volt people? Welcome to a special edition of 12 Volt Insider here on CMA Networks, presented by Sirius XM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and although it's presented by, we are talking about Sirius XM today. Obviously, such an incredible and important partner to us here at CMA Networks. We're going to talk about some highs, some lows, everything that went down this year, and look forward to 2023. And on this journey, we're going to invite my co-captain for today's show. Of course, you know him as Ricky Lima from Sirius XM Canada. He's the Senior Manager for Retail and Special Markets. Ricky, I said your title right. Be proud of me.
You're hired, Ben.
Perfect. How you doing today, Ricky?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to be part of this last show, daytime show that is, and it's been an exciting year. And as you can see, we're getting ready for Christmas.
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Kids are excited, and we're ready to go enjoy the holidays, and just take a little bit of a breather before next year kicks in.
You bet. I mean, it has been an incredible year. And you know what? I really appreciate that we planned this final broadcast to kind of have an opportunity to kind of reflect on all the, things that went down this year. We can talk about, the accomplishments, the accolades, but also have an opportunity to kind of discuss some of the challenges, as well as look ahead to 2023 and see how we could best prepare for next year.
Yeah. And the lineup of people that we have on the show today, I think couldn't put together a better cast and crew to talk about some of that. I mean, Sirius XM as a whole, we certainly have had our challenges this year, but we certainly have enjoyed some of the wins too. I'm really looking forward to 2023. It's been an exciting year. We've had some new launches. Our programming continues to evolve. We keep delivering new content to our listeners, which is, we talk a lot about hardware on the show because this is the audience. But I think what can never be forgotten when it comes to Sirius XM, and especially when we start talking about installing these guys in the back of head units, is the content. And the content for Sirius XM keeps getting even more exciting. With some product launches or some new show launches. I mean, we just talked about recently with Conan O'Brien launching his own show. So, lots of exciting things that we've done this year, but the future certainly is bright. And
not to mention
really
some pretty clutch technology that's on the horizon as well.
Yes, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But like I said before, the future's bright, and I am so fortunate and thrilled to be a part of this company. 2023. I said this to somebody the other day. May of 2023, which is going to come right around the corner, is going to be 17 years for me, pre and post merger. Starting out on the XM side of the business, and now being part of a great merged company in Sirius XM. I've seen where we started all the way to where we are now, and a glimpse into what is going to come down the future, and it is certainly very exciting being able to deliver this great content to all the subscribers and listeners across Canada.
Amazing. So we're going to close that out in grand fashion today. Just to break it down for the folks that are tuning in, either you're watching this live or maybe a little bit on demand. We're going to talk Sirius XM. Of course, we have a special guest from Sirius XM. In fact, it is the vice president who's coming in to kind of give us an update, what's going on, what to look forward to, and address our community, which is, of course, the aftermarket 12-volt electronic specialist. Then we've got literally the who's who of distribution in Canada showing up today. We've got representation from Importel, from Automobility, from Gentec International, Gemsen, as well as Trends Electronics, all great partners of both CMA and Sirius XM. And I think I summed it up right there. That partnership, Ricky, between the Sirius XM brand as well as the CMA Networks brand, we got to talk about that, because as much as it was a huge year for Sirius XM, man, it was a huge year for Sirius XM CMA as well. You asked me before the show, Ben, maybe we should share some stats with the people of what we've been able to do.
Spill it, Ben.
So I took a little bit of time and I put together a little bit of math for everybody. We get asked a lot of questions. People are genuinely surprised when I tell them, yeah, we broadcast every day. And they're like, wow, that's quite the undertaking. But what does that mean as far as mathematics? Well, here's the list. So we started broadcasting the third week of March.
We're talking about 2021 or 2022? Just 2022.
Starting our broadcast at the end of March in the spring. Okay. So within that time frame, up until today, on the Wednesday, November 23rd, we have executed and broadcast 91 connecteds, 43 showcases, 18 workshops, 7 12-volt insiders. Tonight will be the 9th roundtable at 8 p.m. tonight, our final retailer roundtable, all about audiophile grade gear, and 18 CMA lives for a grand total of 186 shows broadcast this season alone. And I can't speak enough to what that means from a production standpoint for our team here, but also the incredible amount of commitment from the distributors, from the trainers, and from the brands to put this work forward and put this on what we're so proud of this year, Ricky, is that platform. And I know from the very beginning, and even for you, the platform was very, very important that we finally be able to establish that.
Yeah. Just think about it, though. The numbers that you just spit out right now are astronomical compared to where we started year one. And it honestly, what a privilege Sirius XM it is to be a part of such a great industry, but also to partner with a brand and a meeting point like CMA. But think about year one. How many shows did we put on? Right? It just started with CMA.
It was just CMA Live, in fact. That was the
CMA
first thing.
Live.
Like, let's get something going. Let's start talking about, car
and
audio.
Look where it's come to. But we talked about a little bit this before. When you think about where the industry comes together, CMA now has become the focal point where you can network with other distributors or other dealers or other installers within the country. You can get added training from the industry professionals themselves. And the beauty is, if you miss a show, it's all archived. So you can go to CMA Network's website and you have your pick of anything that you want to immerse yourself into, and especially for those that are looking to bring on new brands or looking to just sharpen up their tools. It's everything that you need is in one place, and that's CMA. That's where we are right now.
100%.
And for Sirius XM to be a part of it, it's a true blessing.
I think it's a true message of how SiriusXM is supporting the initiative and also the connectivity. Where our slogan is where the 12-volt industry connects, as you can see right up there. But really, that's truly what we're trying to do. And in these times of ever evolving landscapes and environments, since our inception, CMA has also evolved, and we will continue to evolve. And we're gonna, if you stick till the end of the show, you're gonna see just how we're evolving. But we promise to continue to evolve. So one thing I'll mention before we get into our first guest. A major shift change that we did getting into 2022 was to introduce themed sessions by month, let's call it. That certainly seemed to be a huge success. That was an opportunity for dealers to focus their attention on particular subject matter at a critical time of the year where it was the most significant. And that's what we're going to be definitely deploying as we move forward into 2023. I think that was a big hit. Are there going to be, some adjustments, content, presentation, packaging? Of course, it's what we do. We're going to adapt and make sure that it is the best possible content that we can put forth in 2023. But all that to be said, we can't do it without the support with Sirius XM, as well as with all the collaborators and so on and so forth. And we really do look forward to that. So thank you for your comments, Ricky.
That's what I'm here for.
All right.
Make sure that you're focused.
Oh, we're focused. I'm laser focused today because we got a lot on the menu. We got a lot of guests backstage. Let's get in with our first special guest. What else can I say? He is the Senior Vice President for Sales and Marketing for Sirius XM Canada. He's a legend in the game. And if anybody can talk Sirius XM, this gentleman certainly can. We're going to find out from him all the details. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Paul Cunningham.
Nice to meet everybody. Hello.
Hey, Paul. Welcome to CMA.
Thank you.
Hey,
if you haven't noticed, it's presented by Sirius XM, and it's kind of a big deal around here. So first of all, feel very welcome. And let me start by saying on behalf of all of us at CMA and for the 12-volt industry in general, thank you for your continued support of our initiative to continuously keeping the 12-volt industry connected via our platform.
You're a key market for us and an absolute partner for us, and it's key to our business model is to be integrated into the car. So
amazing.
Thank you.
All right. I got some questions here. They're pretty nitty-gritty questions. I hope you're ready for them. But we want to know, because we got the man here. Let's talk a little bit about the journey of Sirius XM. It has been a journey for those of us who have been in the industry for some time. It was originally two separate brands, two separate companies and initiatives that came together. And in Canada, it's a unique story. So maybe we can start with the beginning.
Well, the Canadian market, both businesses launched in December. Well, actually, XM jumped out a day early and went November 30th of 2005, and Sirius followed December 1st, 2005. It's been quite a journey. Both companies were competitors for a number of years, and then they merged in 2011. Together, we got the best of both worlds when we merged, and we've grown to this business into one of the largest subscription-based businesses in Canada. We have well over 2 million self-paying subscribers. And that makes us, when you look at without the mobility people and you look at the cable or some of the other businesses in Canada, we are one of the largest subscription-based businesses. And, it really is become quite a big, large business, which is a major player in the broadcasting business in Canada now.
Mm-hmm. And, there's no doubt about it. As technology has evolved and we look at the offering that the consumer has in today's market, there are a lot of, different options when it comes to content. So I'd like to hear in your words, how do you feel SiriusXM compares to other available content providers within, this type of space?
Well, I think, if you look at us today, we are, first of all, we're the north part of the North American business for Sirius XM. So we are not a North American broadcaster. We're not a global broadcaster. We're a North American broadcaster. What we are is we provide a services that integrated into the car experience. The customer can get into the car, push a button, we can play on their radios within the vehicle. We're very much integrated that way. We want to be integrated in that way through a head-end unit or within a unit within a vehicle. Our listening experience is a little different than a competition. It is a lean back and listen experience where, we produce the content for you. DJs will talk to you about the content. And in addition, it's just not music. It's talk, it's news, it's comedy, and of course it's sports, which is a huge part of everybody's listenership. And so that's what it's a little different. But now, as we've integrated into having integrated head-end units and hooking in with our 300 unit, we're able to do things like have the internet service, or all the additional features we have provided through our internet service, which is on demand, artist stations powered by Pandora, podcasts, all the sorts of things. So we have this additional listening benefit that's available to the customers in their home and now into the vehicles as well.
Wow. So there's a lot of advantages, and that's a continued message that we try to relay to our listenership and audience, that the value packed into the proposition, which is Sirius XM monthly payment, for example, is loaded. I mean, it is an all dressed type of situation. Now, having said that, I think one of the big differences that I certainly want to highlight, and I'm very proud to be associated with Sirius XM, especially with what I'm about to mention here, is the support that Sirius XM continues to have and has always had for the Canadian artist community. And that's very important that we recognize that and separate from some of the other options out there, because the commitment to that artist community is not just in music, but also to things like comedy, for example.
Absolutely. I mean, we're from a royalty perspective, and certainly from a broadcast perspective, we're a huge supporter of the Canadian comedy industry, and have good relationships with them, and are a key broadcaster for them. Because remember, our content, it just doesn't broadcast in Canada. It broadcasts across the 150 million listeners in North America that listen to our service, either on Sirius XM or in the US on Pandora. So it's a huge reach, and it's a huge opportunity for Canadian artists to get exposure into markets that they would not get in if they were just on an AM/FM, or if they're on a demand service. Because remember, on a demand service, you have to choose that, where we will choose it for you and broadcast it for you. So it's a little bit of a different service. In addition, Canada, Sirius XM Canada, we're a Canadian broadcaster. We have over 200 people that work in the Canadian office. We have studios here. We have 24 Canadian produced channels. We operate under the CRTC guidelines, which means, we have 40% of our content is new and emerging. We have 14 music channels, for example, with, have English and French and Indigenous music. We're very much committed. It's run by Canadians for Canadians. And in addition, under the guidelines, we also contribute a lot of money just to Canadian content development. Since inception, when we started, we've spent over $170 million into Canadian content development within Canada. We're a huge player there. Our competitors don't do any of that. They don't they don't have broadcast rules. They don't underneath the Broadcast Act. They don't contribute to Canadian artists. They really don't do anything for Canadians at all. It's really
they take their money.
They take their money,
mm-hmm.
and they don't, and then they take it down to the U.S. and they don't necessarily support the business the way we do. And look, even institutions that support, like Factory Music Action, we represent over 50% of their private broadcasting contributions. So we are a big player here in the marketplace. And then finally, when we did merge, we also were obligated to pay tangible benefits, and that's an additional $29 million that over the $170 million that we contribute into Canadian content. So we are a huge partner, and we don't do it begrudgingly. Again, we are a content provider, and we need to come up with new and innovative content to provide our customers. And so we're happy to invest it into the Canadian market, whether it's in comedy and spoken word, or whether it's in music, mm-hmm. because ultimately we're going to get better content for it.
So important, every word that you just said there. We're obviously, other than being very motivated to promote Sirius XM versus any other type of service provider, just simply on the fact that you are employing Canadians, you're supporting Canadian artists, the money that Canadian consumers are spending, there is a portion going back, into the longevity of this business, which is, music and content creation and all that great stuff that comes with it. So
yeah, and you remember, that same artists, if they get played on The Verge, for example, they're not being played just in Canada. They're being played in North mm-hmm. America. So they're being exposed to all sorts of different markets out there that this person can get fans and followers for. So, I really think we have a strong benefit going.
Amazing.
And just to touch on that too, what Paul just delivered with regards to the coverage and the support that we provide Canadian artists is just insane, and something for us to be proud of. But if you think back to our last episode, which is archived on the CMA Networks platform, and we had Jeff Leake on, he even talked about this on one of the shows, like some artists, whether it's music or whether it's comedy, trying to break through, you know, they've provided testimonials and talk about how proud they are to be on the Sirius XM platform, and through delivering their content on our platform, they've been able to help, pay the rent and pay their bills. That's something that's
It's an
important to us.
undeniable achievement and opportunity, especially for emerging artists. There's no question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finally, Sirius XM North America and Sirius XM Canada it operates independently, but is still part of them. We've invested into brand new studios at our new location at King and Parliament, brand new offices. We continue to invest into the product. We're here to stay, and we feel very strongly that we are a good industry supporter, from a royalty perspective, from a CCD perspective, and just from an employee perspective. Again, 200 plus employees and growing within the Canadian market. And so we're going to be here for a long time, and we're happy to be here.
I'm going to take this opportunity to circle back to the first statement you made when you came on, Paul, and that is our audience. Our audience being that aftermarket 12-volt consumer electronics industry. How important and relevant does the aftermarket business continue to be for Sirius XM in Canada, especially with the connectivity? You mentioned the 300 unit. Of course, you're specifically talking about the SXV 300 add-on unit. And more opportunities with different head unit manufacturers now becoming Sirius XM ready.
Well, let me begin with our business started with the aftermarket business. Our business was founded on the aftermarket business. We would not be a company where we are today if we didn't have the aftermarket business. We still have a large number of subscribers that are aftermarket subscribers. It's still a key product category for us. And, when I started, my background is the consumer electronics business. We didn't bring on an OEM where they had an integrated car unit until 2007. And even then it was, very small quantities of a product. Now that is growing into about, we're penetrating at about between 70 and 75% of new car sales. But despite that, there's still the inventory of overall cars in the market, in addition to, aftermarket isn't just about in the car for us as well. I mean, some of these people are using this remotely, hunting camps, cottages, second boxes, we call them. That is a huge part of our market as well. So yeah, it is a key part. It started our business, and it's still a very key part of the growth and the long-term success of our business.
Very, very cool. You've answered every single question brilliantly. I think my only question left to ask is, looking ahead to 2023, what are you looking forward to most from a SXM perspective?
Well, what I really want is a solution to this IC shortage. This IC shortage is causing us all so much
Everybody
pain.
does.
Everybody's hurting.
And it's driving up prices. It's really hurting supply chain and momentum. Okay, and momentum in sales and a momentum in strategy. And I just wish we could get this behind us. We've left so much business on the table as a entire industry because of this shortage. And I just hope that we get a quicker solution than we've had to the shortages that we're all facing today.
And we're definitely ready to pounce on that whenever that happens, for sure.
Yeah.
So on that note, right?
Ricky, any last word for Paul before we let him go?
Just to thank Paul for being a leader in this industry and really appreciate your time coming on to this platform. We'll certainly have you on again next year as we continue our partnership with CMA, and with your blessing as well as the people of the programming next year. Hopefully, our first show is going to we can run it out of our one of our studios and show everybody our new space. It is phenomenal. When you walk through this new space, it's really exciting. The branding, the studios, we're talking next level. Very, very excited to show everybody what our new space looks like.
Awesome.
And all I want to leave you with is, my heart still is in the 12-volt business. That's where I started. This is where I continue to be. You're key for our business growth. And I think we can really grow together into the future. And I welcome everybody to come and see our new facilities and to take part in the success together.
Amazing. Paul, thank you so much for coming in today and closing out the season with us. And hopefully we'll have you on again in the near future. Happy holidays in the meantime.
Thanks. Same to you. Thanks for having me.
Take care. All right. So, Ricky, I'm going to put you in the back here. That was an awesome thing, but we're going to jump into part 2 of our show. We're going to bring on some of your partners, our partners, some of the key distributors that we have up here in Canada, and have a little discussion on past and present. So let's go ahead. Ricky, we'll get you in the back. We'll get our director to get everything set up here. And in the meantime, let's just sum up. I want to thank Paul from SIRIUS XM to come on today, giving us some insight as to, what their perspective is. And that I think the takeaway is that 12-volt aftermarket portion of the industry is still critical and key. And that's very important for us to know, because there's tons of opportunity still yet to be had. Of course, there's some challenges that we need to overcome, but the business is there. And as long as we continue pushing forward and continue staying educated on top of all the great offers that SIRIUS puts up, all the great tools and training and POP and all this great stuff that Ricky and his team put together, there's lots of opportunity for dealers throughout. So at this time, let's go ahead and bring back everybody, including Ricky. Oh, I thought Ricky was coming on. Let's bring Ricky on as well, if that's possible. Can we do that? Let's see. Well, before we do that, let's introduce. Oh, there you are, Ricky. Thank you, Ricky. Oh, guys, thank you for making the time to join us today. These are my favorite people on the planet, starting with the gentleman at the very top. His name is Kelly Hawley, representing Importel. Welcome, Kelly.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having us.
Right under us from Gentec International, Mr. Nima Jalovand. Say hi, Nima.
Hey, everyone. Thanks, Ben.
Another great distribution partner for us here in CMA, Gemsen, and their representative, Mr. Dave Singh. Dave.
Hey, Ben. Hey, everybody.
Of course, no bigger partner than Automobility, and the man behind the scene here, Mr. Michael Berger. Thank you for joining, Michael.
Hey, Ben.
And last but not least,
How are you?
Distribution partner, way out west, who had to get up a little extra early to join us today, but we are appreciative of that. Representing Trends, Mr. Grant McFadder.
Hey, good day, everybody. Ricky,
Guys,
you look good, buddy.
There you go.
Before we get started, I got to say one thing.
Next
Prior to a few weeks ago being at SEMA, I had not met Grant in person, and I was having a discussion with Trevor Kushner, and I was like, yeah, I haven't had a chance to Grant. And he's like, well, he's right over there. He was talking to one of his vendors, and I look over. I was like, wow, he looks way smaller than he does on his teammate.
Standing next to Trevor Kushner, everybody.
He's larger than life on screen. Let's just keep it at that.
All right. Gentlemen, today we're getting together because we want to take an opportunity to kind of reflect and discuss, have this opportunity to have that discussion about, how 2022 has gone for the industry as a whole and get your perspectives on everything. So I'm going to start this little dialogue here about 2022. It was an interesting transition year coming out of 2021. Let's recap some of the wins and the challenges, kind of open forum style. I'm going to kind of pass the puck around the room here. Ricky, why don't I start with you? Kind of set the tone on this conversation, then we'll go through each distributor.
Yeah, and I'm sure that one of the things that I'll talk about on the challenge side is going to be talked about within the group, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. But really, the linchpin for the 12-volt industry and what SIRIUS XM offers is this unit right here. And that connectivity does not happen when there is a supply chain shortage on the head unit side. So I know that these guys will talk a little bit about that, but that certainly lended some challenges to us, and we had to be creative in our offerings and creative in how we went to market with certain things, and really also spend a little bit more focus on the other side, which is the kind of dock and play, on dash solutions that we still have available. So that certainly is some of the challenges. And I talked about this before, on the win side is really the content, everything that we continue to bring forward, and some of the new channels that we've launched in 2022, and we certainly gained our wins on the content side. And again, the content is really one of the areas that we can never lose sight on, because if we don't continue to bring in the best in content, we're certainly going to fall behind.
Okay, let's start with Kelly from Importel. Wins and challenges of 2022, looking back.
Looking at some of the challenges, like we talk about supply chain, radios, hard to get, IC chips, as Paul mentioned earlier, which are difficult, which reduce supply chain on a lot of things, and with radios included, and even budgeting. Like people are budgeting tighter. Dealers were either loaded or not loaded. So if they had the ability to buy, they loaded pretty heavy, and then they became tighter with the budgeting later in this year, which we're seeing some of that now roll into their future purchasing.
Okay, what about the opinion of Gentec and what you've seen, Nima, this year, both from a win and a challenge perspective?
From a challenge, very similar to what Kelly said with broken supply chain, it's extremely difficult for us to build bundles for these Sirius XM tuners for our dealers, just because we didn't have a proper forecast from the vendors when product would land at a particular timeline. So we had to make some ad hoc decisions, but we made it work. And from the wins, I can say that these tuners that we've been putting out in the field, bundling it with the right radios, have been a great win. A couple of the feedback from the dealer side I've been hearing is that it's been targeting your impulse customers, customers that just come in the store and shop for a discount, or a need-based customer. Any of those customers that come in, seeing what we have for them, which is a all-in bundle that includes Sirius XM hardware and plus the programming promotions attached to it, it makes it such an easier sale at the dealer level, and it makes it a unique package for that customer versus the dealer that didn't offer it. So by taking advantage of Sirius XM and attaching it to every radio install, it brings a lot home. Not just the sale, and on top of that, your attachment ratio to installation, and all of that equals to additional revenue and opportunities.
Okay, Dave, from Gemsen's perspective, whether it's a category specific, or if we want to take a step further out of the forest and look at it overall, if you want to review some of the important things that happened from both a win and challenge perspective.
Well, just like Kelly was saying, and everybody on this panel is going to say, chip shortages have obviously had an impact. Luckily, in 2022, we started to see a little bit of that start to back up. I shouldn't say back up, but become a little bit better. But for us, our roots are the deepest with amplifiers and speakers. Source units, not necessarily our entire bread and butter, but we're lucky that when some of the tier one brands were having challenges with supply, some of the brand new like Boss Elite was able to supply product. And supply product at price points that normally guys, weren't used to spending. But the experience was positive for them, and we kind of benefited from it. So that was a good win for us for 2022, and I think a win for a lot of our dealers that need those source units in order to complete that sale for speakers and amplifiers and that sort of thing. So for us, we're grateful that things were better than the year before, even though they weren't as bad for us as some of the tier one guys, I guess you could say, right?
Well, and I wanted to circle back to that conversation we were having with Paul earlier, where moving ahead to 2023, there are more and more options being introduced into the marketplace for brands such as Boss Elite that are now soon. I don't know the exact date, but if not now, then very soon, having units which will be Sirius XM ready, which is exciting, right, Ricky? More is better. There's more accessibility, more opportunities for dealers.
Every time there is a new product launch, and every time I go into dealers across Canada and I see what's on their car audio wall, and every time I see that Sirius XM ready logo, it just excites me. And I just hope the dealers take advantage of that, because that logo right there means, and Nima touched touched on this. It's extra profitability that if it's not offered, you're leaving money on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, sorry to cut you off, Ben. I mean,
Sure.
there are guys that did not purchase, some of our units just because it was missing Sirius XM, satellite. So it definitely has high value, especially on where you're located. If you're out in the prairies and you're out of terrestrial range, quite a bit. Sirius satellite radio is, really your only way of being in contact with any kind of entertainment, right?
100%. I think everybody knows I kind of live in the sticks, and I don't even get FM radio. But my Sirius signal is strong as you know what, which is great. Now, as fresh as yesterday, Mr. Berger and I were on a show talking about a brand called Linkswell, and they literally announced on CMA that they are now starting with their new generation of radios. I believe is Gen 5, right? Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. But they are now going to be also Sirius XM ready. So I want you to incorporate that into your response when I ask you, Michael, about the 2022 wins versus challenges.
So, it's funny when this pandemic started, it was when everybody shut down, it was like, oh my God, the world's over and so on and so forth. When dealers started opening up again, and, I've been in this industry, 30 years, I guess now. And it's funny because, what happened during the pandemic and latter part of 2020, 21, and first part of 22 was like, it was like back in the late 80s, early 90s. It was crazy. Like, I don't think any of us can deny it was the best, couple of years we've had in this business in a while. So those are definitely the wins there. The problems of chip shortages was obviously prevalent, but the good side of that was every single product we got in was either sold or pre-sold. Now that things are getting back to more normal or slowing down, I think people are going to start. They are looking for deals where before there were no deals, so they're starting to look for deals, and the deals that they're getting on certain products, like in our cases, amplifiers and speakers, which is a good amount of supply right now. Head units is still a problem with the ICs. So where there's savings on amps and subs, there's no savings on the head units because of the unit, which in turn I think is going to help push that customer to buy an SXV 300 because of the savings that they're realizing on the amps and speaker side. So, there's, always a give and take on both sides. And, myself, I only listen to Sirius XM or 680 News, the local news station, and that's all I listen to. So.
Mr. McFadder, from a trans perspective, again, you do a lot of marine business as well. I'd like to hear any wins or challenges that trans faced in the last year and a half.
Pretty much what everyone else above said. We're all in the same business, same dealerships and stuff like that. So we had all the same challenges. Anytime someone can turn on the radio and listen to music, whether it's Sirius XM or if you have those round things called CDs, anytime we get customers listening to music, it helps our business because a lot of us spend a lot of time in our cars or in our boats or even at home. So content, whatever is provided by Sirius XM or whatever else, it's awesome because I hate seeing kids run around with these little earbuds and thinking that's great audio, unless they've spent some really good quality ones. But getting in front of a good set of speakers or, big power amplifiers and stuff like that, getting kids involved in the industry because let's face it, they're spending a lot of their money elsewhere these days on e-bikes and cell phones and everything else, right? Drones.
And these virtual tokens for video games, which I just hate buying all my nephews and nieces for Christmas. Like, what is that even all about? I don't even know. All I know is I spend on them. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, Grant. I want to give an opportunity to kind of circle back, or if anybody spoke before, to close this 2022 conversation. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add to this part of the conversation? No, Ricky, would you like to close it out?
I think everybody brought some great points, and again, the reason why we wanted this collection of of people on this call, they all distributed different brands, and they all had their niches. Whether it's car audio, whether it's marine power sports. I think everybody did a great job touching on the wins and challenges.
My takeaway from all what I've heard, I think if we can get over some of this chip stuff, combine that with some better inventory of source units, combine that now with new offerings being added, such as the Boss Elites and the Lynxwells, giving that wider range of catalog to dealers and customers. If those things can come together at the same time, I think we may see the biggest spike in attachment SXV300 sales moving forward to 2023. Not to mention, and I think Kelly had brought this point up in her preamble about the OE increase sales, right? Kelly, maybe you want to speak to that real quick for, like, example, the Vicetech stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we started off and with new cars almost not being available at the start of the pandemic. They were very scarce. This year, we're starting to see that increase in the OE car manufacturing coming back to new car dealership sales. And with Vicetech and the ability to add the Sirius XM SXV300 to the factory equipped radio, we've seen a spike in that towards the end of this year, now that we're seeing increased volume of vehicles being sold into the marketplace.
So there you have it. Whether
there's another avenue for guys to get involved.
I was just going to say, the expediter business, if you will, if you're dealing with new vehicle, new cars from dealerships that are being sold off the lot, man, opportunity right there. So whether you're an expediter, whether you're a retailer, regular dealer, or you do both, I think between these distributors, they can support you to make sure that you have the hardware, and between what Ricky and his team provides from a software training and solutions and incentives standpoint, everything to succeed moving forward to 2023 as far as Sirius XM is concerned. Let's move on to our second part of this dialogue. We wanted to take this opportunity to kind of talk about CMA, and the reason for that is you're looking at literally our biggest supporters, those that have invested in the platform from the very beginning. Obviously, with Sirius XM being our major partner, these are the distributors that literally without them we wouldn't be here, because they represent all the top brands within the industry. So wanted to take a second and kind of just go around table to hear how the Canadian, we'll specifically talk to the Canadian industry, has benefited from the CMA platform since its inception, and where it's become today, where it's grown to be, and how do you leverage it best for your customers, so that it could be maybe an example of best practice to optimize this platform moving forward. Let's go to the bottom. Let's start with Grant this time. CMA and trends. What is that relationship? How do you leverage it? And what are your comments on it?
For us, I think it's a great platform for new product launches, brand announcements, stuff like that. It's certainly caused us to up our game as far as presentation goes. We were all sitting with desks with different backgrounds and stuff on it. We've got a whole studio here that we have now that we never had at the beginning of the pandemic. So it certainly helps with not only this platform, but all our other regional trainings we do, whether this format up our game as far as presentation goes. For me, it's this format is more educational than selling. God knows when I'm in the field, I do enough selling. So this is, maybe the dealers like this better because it's more educational than push on the sales side. All of us are good at that. So really, I mean, for us, I think it's, product launches, product announcements, and more on the education side is what I think it's a great format for.
Yeah, you guys do a great job, that studio. You along with Derek make a great combination. It's a great example of how things can be done. I'll have to give Trends probably the Vanna White Award for just the way they have set up, the presentation of products. A really, really good job on that. Michael Hopper from Automobility, you guys also have a full setup that you guys have invested to at head office, which we've seen come on from different characters from Automobility, whether it was Steve Colomb or Phil Cameron or Justin or whatever it is. What's your take on CMA as a platform?
So, I always enjoy, being on and also watching, our episodes along with everybody else's episodes. As Grant mentioned, it's great for on the education side, and I also think it's great that our dealers, all of our dealers, can put faces and names to the manufacturers that are on your shows as well. So for the dealers that weren't able or aren't able to make it down to SEMA, for example, they get to see, put names to, the product trainers at all those different companies. I think that's very valuable.
All right, very cool. Thank you for those comments, Michael. Dave, you and I have spent obviously a lot of time on the screen together, but also have undergone some incredible presentations and trainings with some of the top guys that represent your brands. I'd like to hear the Gemsen input on the development and evolution of the CMA platform.
Well, certainly CMA has done a really fantastic job, from a production value, you've done a great job as a host, Ben. I mean, asking the right questions. For us, CMA has become valuable because we can get the latest and greatest news out instantly. We don't have to wait for the next round of a road trip to present that information. And I think CMA also allows dealers to, absorb the information in little bite-sized nuggets. If you were on the road and you wanted to do some training, not everybody has, 3, 4, 5 hours, in a single night for you to cover everything in your portfolio. With this particular format, we could do a session. Somebody could watch it at lunch. They could watch it at night. Whenever their downtime is, perhaps when they're in the bathroom, whatever. Wherever.
There is a statistic that I could probably back that statement up with, Dave. I'm not even gonna lie. A huge portion of our time is probably on the bathroom. There's no.
I wouldn't.
Let's just hope that none of the guests and hosts that come on the show are doing.
Yeah, no. Well, it's hard to tell these days because some of you guys are smart and you do like a green screen on your chair, so I don't actually know where you're sitting or what you're sitting on, to be completely honest with you. Like look at Grant, for example. Where is he? Is he actually in his studio? Or is he?
The bathroom wall is the same color as this, so
right. You don't know, and I guess that's part of the beauty. That's part of the beauty of it. And you know what? It's like it's been so much fun. You guys are freaking broadcast from everywhere, from your car to a dealer's to your shop to your desk, and then COVID where you couldn't even go to the office. I mean, we've been through so many scenarios together. It's funny to think back about it. Nima, how about you from Gentec? You've got two very strong brands, especially very highly technological brands that have developed so many new products in the last year and a half. CMA and Gentec, what's that like?
Well, basically looking at CMA, where it started and where it is today, over year, the whole CMA platform has been has improved, and dealers have been noticing it, and also our vendors. So it's a great platform for us to continue to support going into 2023, because everyone is enjoying this platform, especially with the rest of the guests. They said it is pretty much like cloud-based. All the information is stored. They can go back and watch it on demand. So it makes sense. We can now reach out to our customers. Doesn't matter where they are at in Canada, because of the widespread population. We can provide the information we need to our dealers at any given point.
Yes, very good. I like that. The practicality is certainly something we thrive for. So thank you for those comments, Nima. Now, Importel is an interesting one, Kelly, because Importel does a couple of things that are pretty unique. And I don't know if you want to share all these secrets, but I'm going to burst your bubble on a couple of them because I think it's important. And you can tap me on the hand afterwards for it. But, you got a guy over there called Alex, and he does a great job in making sure your client base knows when your shows are coming on, who the trainers are, following up with them after the show. And in fact, I've even been witness to your on the call service representatives directly referring customers to pre-recorded sessions that have been done. Can you comment on that, please, Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, Alex is our marketing guy. He's incredible at keeping up to date and making sure we get the information out in a timely fashion to all our dealers. And he's good at making sure everybody is, and that's done multiple times. He's second to none. I think he's awesome in the industry. I think he does a great job. He promotes CMA heavily, and he tries to bring about, and I was going to mention when everybody had great points. You guys do a phenomenal job of production, presentation, getting it out to the dealers, having it available on demand and in real time. But it brings about a community within our industry. So it brings everybody together, not just it brings the dealers, it brings our manufacturers, it brings our distribution teams and distribution companies together, and we become a little more tight-knit group of people. And kudos to you guys because you do a fabulous job at making this all come together in a great platform.
Don't make no mistake. I will be taking some time to thank everybody who's involved in this happening. Of course, everybody sees me, but this is not just about me. I just get to be the guy that's on the camera. So we're going to talk about that for sure. I'm going to leave Ricky the final word on wrapping up CMA Expo in the eyes of Sirius XM. Sorry, did I say CMA Expo? I meant CMA Networks.
So I talked about this in the beginning of the show with regards to what the evolution of CMA and now it being kind of like a central point for Canada as far as people come together. So I don't think I need to talk about that too much anymore. What I will say is this, and coming into prior to CMA, I thought that I was immersed in the industry. And as I continue to see all these episodes and the different type of brands and the people coming on and the discussions and the training and going into things like DSP, I was, very, very underqualified, so to speak, to really call myself as part of the industry. So, for me, selfishly, I've taken the time to watch as many shows as possible to even, learn things as much as I can, like DSP, just to when these discussions are coming up in industry shows, I don't feel like I'm overly lost. There's still a lot for me to learn, but it's also been a great opportunity for me to see and meet people that I didn't know. I'm centralized here in Ontario. I can't always be in so many places. It's a huge country. So being able to connect with people in the industry, whether it's a brand, whether it's a distributor, or whether it's a dealer, I've been able to meet dealers ahead of time so that when I'm traveling out west, it's not a cold introduction anymore. It's now a warm introduction where I get to meet, oh yeah, no, I recognize you from that episode, right? So it's been great for me to just immerse myself more into the industry, and that knowledge for myself is going to continue to grow.
I want to take the time to thank everybody, obviously for their support, but also for their comments, and they mean so much. We do, we spend so much time thinking about how to best package things, how to best present it in a way, because at the end of the day, it's about connectivity, like everybody said. And what we feel our responsibility is inherently is to keep things connected, to keep that distribution channel connected to the dealers, connected to the manufacturers. Like you said, Kelly, that is the purpose. Our slogan simply says it's where the 12-volt industry connects. I sometimes often wonder, what were we doing before CMA? Like, how did everybody kind of connect and update people? And really, it's kind of asking yourself, what did you do before you had a cell phone? You just don't think about it. It is what it is. It's what we have now. And it's a great avenue to not only reflect on things that you might have missed and be flexible, like you said, Dave, but, timely announcements. Man, this industry is moving so quick. Things happen in a heartbeat. You could have had a press release a month ago, and all of a sudden there's an update 3 weeks later, right? And this is just stuff that's happening. So I want to let everybody know, of course, thank you for the continued support, but rely on us to continuously evolve our format, our platform, our thinking to best adapt to the ever-changing environment, to keep us on the cutting edge and to be relevant and to be that source where the 12-volt industry connects. So I'll leave it at that. Guys, there's not much time left on the counter, but we saved the biggest announcement for the end. I kind of let it slip out, but we're going to make it official. Here's how I'm going to frame this. Everybody on the screen, including are all CMA members. And the CMA was found on a membership of key players in manufacturing and distribution in Canada. On the screen are some of the biggest players there are. There are another list of 6, 7, 8 other members of CMA who you've seen on the network, of course. Members like Metra, members like Tiber, members like Dix Performance and JVC Kenwood and Pioneer, and the list goes on. Having said that, we've come together. If you're listening as a dealer, if you're an industry member within Canada, if you are represented by some of these great distributors on this screen right here from a manufacturer standpoint, you've probably already been given the heads up. If not, you will be soon. We are officially announcing right here, right now, the return, for those that you didn't know, or for those that didn't know about the first one, this is going to be our first inaugural. Let's cue the image. Let's put it up. CMA Expo coming to Toronto, March 25th, 26th. It's going to be the ultimate dealer training and networking event that this industry has been waiting for years and years. We're going to continue delivering where the 12-volt industry connects. We're going to take the next 5 minutes, kind of pass the torch around the table here to talk about what we're excited for. This is a collaborative effort being brought to you by all the membership of CMA, including those that are on the screen today. It's something that's long overdue. Ricky, let's start with you. It's been a long journey.
It has been a long journey, and I talked about how I've been able to come and meet the industry people through CMA, but I think back to pre-pandemic, sitting in a hotel with Frank Spizzano and talking about this vision of CMA in the form of an expo. And obviously COVID pumped the brakes on that, and the benefit of that, you have to look at the bright side of everything, is CMA now has evolved to where we are today. But there's some things that cannot be replaced virtually. And I just think back to that discussion I had with Frank at a different venue that we were looking at the time. And
I'm pretty sure everybody on the screen had that discussion with Frank at some point. But
yeah, but I mean, there was a vision that Frank shared, and I think because how things evolve now and where we are now with CMA, to be honest, I think we are better suited putting the show on now than we were pre-pandemic. And I only say that because of where we are, what we've created, and where the industry is now in Canada, because of what CMA has been able to do to bring together. I am so excited for the show. I'm so excited, and just to be able to meet all the different dealers and brands and distributors and everybody coming into one place, it's exciting. I cannot wait.
Amazing. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Nima, I'm going to go to you first. Let's hear your reaction. What are you most excited about, and how do you think dealers should be excited?
So we're excited to see our dealers in person. And I think that's the same from our dealer side. They haven't been able to communicate with us in person. It's just been over email or telephone calls. So by us getting to interact with them, it'll help the relationships. And at the same time, for the past 2 years, there's been so many great new products, so many brand new builds. We can finally show those at the show, bring our demo vehicles, and let the customers and the dealers experience what that they can put together and provide to their customers.
So you're pretty excited about the touchy-feely experience with the demo boards and the demo vehicles, and with Alpine and Sony, it's going to be pretty exciting stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to Gemsen. Dave, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. What should dealers be most excited about from a Gemsen perspective? Oh, are you on mute, Dave? Let's bring you back. Hello? Say something, Dave. Are you on mute? There you are. You're back. Yep.
Like Nima was saying, being back in the face of the dealer, shaking hands, having that face-to-face conversation, nothing beats that. We can catch up with them on a personal level, but obviously touch, feeling product and hearing it, of course, there's something to be said for that. Watching presentations and everything is great, and it's a nice interim solution. But it was, when we went to SEMA, it was great to see the dealers. We were able to bring down a bunch of dealers, and it was awesome to be able to chit chat with them and rekindle those relationships. And we look forward to doing that sort of thing.
With the participation of all these great distributors and members, Dave, especially your brands or some of the most sought after brands. From a training perspective, I think there's a lot to be excited about for dealers as well, no?
Absolutely. We're getting into more complex topics, and sometimes the chat online isn't enough. You might want to take a break and ask somebody, hey, can you pull up the laptop and show me how you did this, or this is what I'm running into, and doing that in person is going to be valuable for
All right. Grant, trends, lots of technical different brands, lots of, I mean, not only that, but you cover the spectrum from marine to motorcycle. What does this show mean to Trends Electronics?
It means a lot of travel.
Yes, sir. Definitely. No doubt about it. You are coming in from the furthest, my friend.
But you know what? We're excited about it. It's been a long time since the last show that was done out in Vancouver that was really, really well received. I think everyone on here enjoyed the last show that was done in Vancouver. We're going to be, you know, for a lot of people, we've got a lot of new brands over the last 2 or 3 years. Same with everyone else on here. We've added some new products. So really, it's the first time we get out to our dealers in the East to show we're going to have our Focal launch officially in Canada at that show. We'll have the product for a little bit now, but that'll be really our first launching platform as a distributor of Focal going forwards. Cicada Audio, just wait till people hear that in person, like look out. So
a lot of new for Trends. Perfect timing for that Q1 kind of timing.
Yeah. So no, it's going to be awesome. I've done a little bit of travel back east this year, but it's nothing like what everyone else is saying. The meeting and greeting, drinking a beer and shooting the crap, And then Ricky can see how tall I really am, person. Not that he's a giant by any means. Like the guy's the same height as me, for crying out. You made it sound like I'm a midget.
No.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. Okay, we're going to switch to Kelly, Importel. This is interesting. So be careful I'm going to be careful what I say here, but I'm going to say it. Our first edition CMA will be held in Toronto Expo. So for this first edition, this is your backyard, as it is with Gentec, as it is with Gemsen, and arguably to Automob as well. It's not too far away. What are we expecting from? What do you expect from the local dealers? I mean, there's so many dealers just within the GTA.
Like everybody's touched on it already. It's been so long since we've last had a show, or last had face-to-face meetings, and last had time to actually sit down, have manufacturers train our dealers. I believe we're going to get a really good turnout. It's been over 3 years since anything has been live event. We're excited, like very similar to Grant. We purchased another company. We've got so many new brands to get out there. It's, from East Coast to West Coast, and just that education side of it is so important to us. And that's one of our biggest, most exciting parts that we're looking forward to, is the education side of it. Again, it's a selling show, but it's the education. It's educating the whole 12-volt industry on, how can we all be better as a whole, not as Gemsen, Trends, and everybody. It's as a whole. How do we get to another level? And I believe this is a good step towards that this year.
Very good. Automobility, certainly a giant factor and footprint at the show for the tremendous amount of brands you carry. I'd like you to close out this part before I give our viewers a couple nuggets of what to expect at the show. So the Automobility perspective, if you will, please, Michael.
Well, recently come back from SEMA, I saw, quite a few dealers there at the show, and it was good to see the dealers you haven't seen in a while there. And I could see by them, the interaction with the manufacturers again, and actually touching the product, not seeing it on a screen, is what we're really looking forward to with the Canadian show going on, because it does make a big difference when the dealers actually get to speak to the manufacturers and touch the product, and if they have any questions, they can get it right from the manufacturer's perspective, or whatever the case, whatever question they may have, they'll have it answered right from the manufacturer, which is a huge thing in my view.
All right. Well, here's what you guys need to do. First of all great responses, all great critique. At the end of the day, we are going to be unraveling or peeling back the layers of what this show will actually represent over the course of the next few weeks. Here's what you guys need to know. The show is confirmed, and it's scheduled for March 24th, 25th, 26th in Toronto at the Toronto Congress Center. That's the first thing you need to know. It's a 3-day show. The website will be launched soon enough, and on that website, you'll be able to register for said event. So if you're a dealer in Canada, That's where we're going to send to register. We're going to be working with all our partners, including those on the screen today, to make sure that you guys are aware of the show and you guys are signing up for the show. Here's a couple more nuggets for you. We are going to have the most incredible training schedule you have ever seen. We've spent 2 years building relationship with the best trainers on the planet. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a schedule like you've never seen before. We're talking 4 training rooms, full time, 3 days. It's a heck of a lot of training. All that information is going to be on the website when we launch it. The other thing you need to know are all the brands that are going to be covered at the show. Again, between the distributors that are on the screen, plus everybody else that's a member of CMA, that information will also be disclosed. So you'll know as a dealer exactly which brands are being represented at the show and who you should be connecting with, making meetings with, so on and so forth. Don't want to give away too much. That's what I have to say for now. On behalf of everybody here and all our CMA members, we're super excited to announce CMA Expo 2023. Ricky, I don't have anything else unless you want to close out a quick message with our distributor partners here on the screen. I want to thank them for taking the time to join us and closing out the season with us.
I think you covered it all, Ben. Just again, very grateful to have everybody here on this roundtable, and appreciate your support specifically for Sirius XM, but also what you provide to the industry. And there are some other distributors too that are not here that we work with as well. And really looking forward to 2023 and Sirius XM. We cannot do this without all your help. So once again, really appreciate all your support.
Very well. On that note, Mr. Grant McFadder, Mr. Michael Berger, Mr. David Singh, Mr. Nima Jalavan, and Mr. Kelly Hawley, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for the continued support. Thank you for supporting everything we do, including this announcement of the CMA Expo for 2023, and for taking the time today during your busy work week. And we look forward to connecting again with you very shortly.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Ricky.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having us.
Hey, Ricky, good luck tomorrow with Portugal, buddy.
Yeah.
Portugal.
Go Canada.
Good luck today, Canada. Canada today.
All right. We'll say bye to everybody. And then let me, I guess I'll bring Ricky back in a second here so we can close out this show and kind of review everything we learned and call it for 2022. Let's go ahead and bring Ricky back here. Mr. Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
We had a great guest.
Great show.
Paul came in, lay down the law. This is it. Incredibly important, this aftermarket industry. Love to hear that. Some great new opportunities and products supporting the Sirius XM initiative moving forward. And yeah, I think he said it all right there. So that was the first part.
Paul is a great leader within our company, and we've got a lot of great leaders. We've got a lot of different departments, different people driving different areas of the business. But Paul has been there from day one, and it was fantastic to have him. And I'm sure he'll be on next year, certainly at the expo in person. So can't thank him enough for attending today's show.
Then we had 5 of your top distributors show up today. They all showed up, all, great commentary, both from a review of this past season, as well as looking ahead, talked about our CMA Network's platform and how they use it. And of course, CMA Expo. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, I think just like, my excitement for the show, the majority of us were at SEMA, and just being able to be in person and shake hands and see some of these things front and center. I think that's going to be the biggest benefit to everybody that was on the show today, to be able to showcase all the brands that they have. Of course, they all distribute Sirius XM, which is great. But they do carry a lot of brands and they support the industry like no other. So I think CMA Expo is really going to take our Canadian industry to the next level, and very excited for that.
I said what I could for now for Expo, so of course stay tuned. I want to take an opportunity to bring up Sirius XM info. If you're a dealer and you want to find out more information or more opportunities, offers, so on and so forth, SiriusXM.ca/2 ways to save, ever evolving opportunities. Who knows, 2023 will probably have another program, but I'm sure Ricky will come on and let us know what that program may be. Right now, this is what's there, and it's great. Make sure you check that out. Now, before I let you go, Ricky, want to update you on a couple of things and share this with everybody else. What does CMA do between now and when we, come back on air? So, well, yes, we'd like to get a nap in, but more importantly, we are scheduled to come back on air April 2023. Why? Because, well, we have an expo to do in March, at the end of March. So we're going to very much be working on the CMA Expo, updating our dealers, and working with our partners to make sure that is the best show we can possibly produce at the end of March. And then we'll come back to broadcast, of course, in April. In the meantime, we will also be making our formally first ever in-person appearances with a couple of our other event partners that we want to mention. The first one being the Mobile Electronics Knowledge Fest show going down in Las Vegas the first week of February, where we are partaking in supporting the award ceremony, and we'll be there broadcasting as well live. And of course, MasterTech Expo in Arizona in the beginning of March. Ricky, you and I are both going to be there. We'll be there in a big way. In fact, tonight, guys, we are announcing the 2 lucky winners for the MasterTech Expo contest on our final broadcast of the year during our roundtables tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, all about audiophiles. Don't miss that. And other than that, I say that's a wrap, sir.
What else is there to say, Ben?
Nothing, man. It's been a blast, man.
It's been a great year. Looking forward to 2023.
All right, Ricky. Thank you so much for putting this one together and, of course, for the continued support. And we'll talk to you on the other side.
Thank you very much, Ben. Appreciate it.
Take care. Now, this is our final show, our daytime show, and I definitely wanted to take a quick minute to acknowledge some very important people and facts. It's been a long journey, and it's been an interesting and bumpy one at times, but very rewarding on other times. And I want to take this opportunity to thank our major partner, of course, in Sirius XM. I don't say it enough, but between Ricky Lima from the Canadian side and Paul Truman on the US side, obviously, needless to say, CMA Networks would simply not exist without this incredible support from our major partner in Sirius XM. I want to thank all our CMA members, whether it's the distributors and the manufacturers, all the presenters that come on to the platform. That includes, all the training staff, the sales staff, the trainers that come on, the work that they put into these presentations as much as we do to make sure you guys have the best, possible presentation every single time. And of course, we want to thank the dealers, because you guys are our audience. We do this for you to make sure that you are informed, that you are educated, and that you take the time to, absorb, watch, listen to our content at your own leisure and convenience through our platform. Truly want to thank all the great feedback, and I've met so many of you, and I've heard so much of your feedback and commentary. So thank you to all the dealers in this industry for taking the time. Finally, 3 very important people. I want to take definitely a minute here to recognize first, our president and executive producer, Frank Spezzano. I heard the guys mentioning his name. Well, he is the visionary behind CMA Networks and CMA Expo. So I want to thank him for his relentless passion. And I think the word is relentless. And for those of you who know, I think that's the right word. Having said that, we also want to give a big shout out to Sheldon Hatch of RKP Productions. You don't see him on the screen because he's the one pressing the buttons, and his team has made sure that CMA Networks is always on point with our production quality. We want a big shout out for his creative input and obviously his expert level guidance. Without his guidance and consultation, we wouldn't be operating at the level that we are at. And finally, a big high five to literally one of the backbones of our brand, of our operation. Her name is Marcella Leo. We don't have a title that really justifies everything that she does for us, but thank you for her commitment and her, really everything she does, her incredible attention to detail and her unrivaled consistency to kick our butt to make sure that we are on point and deliver on everything that we set out to do. That's all my thank yous. I've had an incredible time speaking to you guys, connecting with you guys, learning with you guys. I feel I'm a much better suited human being for this job than I've ever been before. And I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to not only meeting so many of you in person, whether it's at the CMA Expo in Toronto, the Mobile Electronics Knowledge Fest show in Las Vegas, or the MasterTech show in Mesa, Arizona, or any other opportunity that may arise. I definitely look forward to connecting with you. But here's what I promise. We will continue to work diligently to keep the 12-volt industry connected right here on CMA. That's it for this one. Thanks for tuning into this CMA 12-Volt Insider, all about Sirius XM today. I'm your host, Ben Wu, signing out for 2022. Until next time, we connect.
mean, yeah, that's how
Stop
you know
it.
today when I'm gonna go
Yo.
choppers.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?